Hello and welcome to Ecoholics. In this another video of Thinking Tree series on Ecoholics, we are having Dr. Ganesh Kawadia ji, and today we'll discuss about the recent budget developments. So you know that about Nirmala Sitharaman, Honorable Finance Minister, presented the budget on the 1st February 2020, and this budget is considered as a recovery tool for the Indian economy, especially from the low growth rate. And another aspect of this to achieve $5 trillion economy in the next 5 years. So welcome Dr. Ganesh ji, and on this platform of Ecoholics, and welcome to our studio.
Thank you.
Today we'll discuss about the budget, and in the budget provisions, what are the important, we can say, takeaways that India can achieve $5 trillion economy the next 5 years.
Very rightly said that the government budget or the union budget is not just an instrument of showing what are the revenue receipts and what are the capital receipts and what are the expenditure and what are this. This is the simple arithmetic. For me, budget is important from two points of view. First, whether this particular budget is able to address the issues of Indian economy or not. Second, and whether this budget is able to achieve the objectives of the government or not. Both are very important. For you very rightly said that government wants to make the economy $5 trillion by 2024. So whether this budget is taking certain steps to achieve the target or not. This is all. Suppose there is a problem, we want to remove poverty, then we want to see whether this particular budget is able to take some steps to or not. Very rightly said that the Modi government said that we want to make the farmers' income double by 2022. So whether this particular budget is able to do that part or not, that we have to read. So reading the budget is not just on the basis of the what tax is imposed, what tax is not imposed. It is better to see whether these two issues are addressed by the government or not. So, and for that, the finance minister is very honest. He said that my budget is focused on three parameters: aspirational India, economic development India, and caring society. So, three is very important part. And for aspirational India, she has developed a 16-point agenda for the revival of agricultural and rural economy. Very important.
Very important,
because we have 135 crore population and food is our basic requirement. We cannot compromise for food with any other thing. And that's why the major focus is on. And this time I am very happy to learn that the focus is on the reduction of the cost of cultivation through solar use, through biofertilizer, through all different techniques, how to reduce, because without reducing the cost of cultivation, there is no way to increase the farmer's income. And second, very important part is to create a market system by which farmers can get the reasonable price of their product. So e-marketing, market structure, and all this is very important, not only from this point of view, but for rural economy, they did a lot of efforts and put a huge fund for revival of the rural economy, because the 70% population still lives in the rural areas. But my issue is that for last 3-4 years we are pumping huge money in the rural economy. We have to see whether the rural economy is able to absorb this much of fund or not. And if we are not able to create a productive asset in the rural areas all through this, then that will not be a sustainable development. So this is the issue, that every time you are putting lot of money in the rural economy without observing whether it is increasing productive asset in the rural economy or not. So I have a doubt. And second, we very rightly said that the economy is facing slowdown, and this year's growth rate 4.5% is lowest for last 10 years. So how to improve the growth? And for growth, everyone is aware that demand is slow down. We are not able to create a demand of the product. So how to create the demand? And for demand creation, middle income group is the most important parameter. Middle income group creates the demand for industry, and industry has a better linkages with agriculture, and therefore there is a demand. But you have not bothered for the middle income group. This is the reason that I have a doubt whether you will be able to revive this economy or not. And third part, you said that industry and manufacturing sector is very, very important. And industry and manufacturing sector is important. So you gave a corporate profit tax rate reduction very rightly. You have removed the dividend distribution tax. Again, you have supported them.
Yes.
And if you analyze that all these big companies are sitting on a huge balance on their cash balance sheet. Means they are waiting for some environment.
Yes.
They are waiting for some motivation.
Yes.
And who will provide the motivation? Government is the right one. So if government is believing that less government, more governance, then private sector will not come up and it's difficult to revive the economy.
Yes.
So as a student of economics, why I realize that government should think some out of box. Because we are facing a huge slowdown.
Yes.
And why I am concerned with the huge slowdown? Because our potential growth is 10%.
10%, yes.
And we have deviated from our potential growth, and therefore there is a need for extra push to the economy.
Yes.
And the extra push should come from the government side. And government is now, at present, the government is in a very comfortable position. We have a huge forex reserve, and forex reserve is more than 430 billion, all-time high.
All-time high, yes.
All food grain stocks is at the peak.
Yes.
Food corporation, all the warehouses of food corporations are full of food grains. Yes. We don't have space to accommodate the new crops.
Yes.
So this is nothing but the saving of the government of India.
Yes.
Forex and all this. And third part, if you analyze, the external borrowing on the government of India is lowest.
Okay.
So all this indicates that the risk-bearing capacity of Indian economy is very high.
Very high. So we can take chances.
Chance. And the chance is expand the fiscal network.
Obviously.
Pump more money in the market economy by creating a wonderful infrastructure. You have a huge forex, what to wait?
Yes.
Why we are delaying our infrastructure project for 3 years, 4 years? Unnecessarily it is increasing cost. So push it.
Yes.
Railway line, why we are waiting for that? Airports, why we are waiting? And when we want to make an export-led growth rate, then why we are not promoting the infrastructure of port, infrastructure of airports, and all these are very important.
Very important.
So I am disappointed that the government was restricted the fiscal deficit to 3.5%. I was expecting that at least this time government will go for 4.5% of fiscal deficit. Why? Because comfortable. In 1991 it was not comfortable.
Yes.
But today government is in a very comfortable, and the economy is facing a very severe depression, or you can say slowdown. So we want some motive, some extra push. And I think this is missed one. And one very important other part, what is the problem for the industrial growth? Why the economy is not picking up? If you analyze that when our economy was growing at the rate of 8% to 9%, the capital formation rate was 34.5%.
Yes.
And
that was the peak for India.
Yeah. Now today the capital formation rate is only 27.8%.
Yes.
How to create this gap? Means you have to push the capital formation rate, and for capital formation again we need savings. Without saving there is no way, because foreign fund cannot provide the gap which is required. So what is the way? Means you have to promote the techniques of motivating savings, those who are able to save money.
Yes.
Again, middle income group is the right person.
Yes.
And third, you have to force them for saving.
Yes.
We have used fiscal policy to promote our saving rate.
Yes.
Force, because if you give the option that pension or no pension, if you want pension you have to give this much of fund, no pension, no fund, so people will opt for no fund.
No fund, no pension.
Today is more important than tomorrow. So they will. So we have to motivate, because we don't have a sufficient social security scheme.
Yes.
So saving is a must. Now you are not giving a proper concession in the income tax. What the people will do? People will save, but that money will not come to the bank. They will save in the physical asset form, maybe in the land, maybe gold, holding. Unnecessarily, it will not be very productive. So there is a need to promote, because you took care of the top industrial group, you took care of the agriculture, but you have ignored the middle income group. And in our economy, to my point, The middle income group is the real engine of economic growth.
That is backbone of the Indian
Or engine of the push them, it will give the result.
That's where consumerism comes in. That's why India is having a lot of market.
So entire world is looking for India is because of this middle income group.
Large consumer base.
Large consumer base.
Since you have seen around 40 budgets in your lifetime, so what is your opinion about like Indian economy is struggling with the problem demand side, what I think, and the government is taking solutions from the supply side, like monetary policy is indirect solution, and there's a problem of monetary policy transmission as well. So what do you think, like what are the probable solutions in 2020 that government can take, like via expenditure in infrastructure or social expenditure?
If you look to the history of India's economic development, you will find that in Indian economy, public sector and private sector, they are complementary to each other. They are not competitive. So when public sector is keeping silent, private sector will not take boost.
Obviously, that's
so
why
they are waiting. They are waiting. What the direction of the government expenditure? What is the direction of the public sector units? So my thing is that we should not have less government and more governance. I want more government and more governance. And public and private sector should be made complementary to each other in order to create a boom in the economy or in order to enjoy the demographic dividend.
It means government has to step in and take the responsibility. Like Keynesian economics, what said, this is the requirement of the government.
Economy. And slow down economy, government cannot be, we cannot accept the government which is passive. Economic theory says that we want an aggressive government, especially when you are slow down.
So government has to take steps. If we see another aspect of this budget, in this budget they are taking care of the more rural economy, agriculture economy. Our focus was on agriculture as well because we have a target of doubling the farmers' income as well as doubling of exports as well. So what do you think about like how agriculture income can be doubled? Like what is the litmus test of that?
There are two ways of creating income, agriculture income. One way is increase the price of the commodity. And government is a tool, minimum support price. But I think this is not a sustainable approach. If you increase the price, the cost of production will increase and the other way income will withdraw. So what is the important part is that we should create a room between the price and the cost of production. So the focus of the government should be to reduce the cost of production.
Reduce the cost of production.
Cost of cultivation. How to reduce the cost of? Subsidize their electricity, subsidize their irrigation, subsidize their pesticide, subsidize their fertilizer. All these are very important. And you can say that why government should subsidize? Because food is essential for everyone.
For farmers,
135, we cannot depend on foreign food. We have to create all. And for that, agriculture needs subsidy, agriculture needs focus from the government. There's no doubt on that. But other part is very important, and the other part is that you should realize that the economy is not able to absorb sometimes the agricultural production. Whenever there is a crop, the price of the onion collapse, price of tomatoes process, it means market is not able to absorb this one. So in order to create an absorbing capacity of the market, you have to strengthen the industry and infrastructure.
Obviously in 2013 same happened with onion, and then again in 2016
every year.
So there's a policy also.
So we want food processing unit. We want that every district should have a food processing industry. Why the farmer is forced to sell their product sold? So this is very important part.
Coming to the finance sector, if you see, because if you see circular flow, the basic economics, finance sector comes in between. And there's a problem of liquidity crunch in MSME. So what do you think, like how we can actually reduce the non-performing assets? Although it has come down from 9 lakh crore to 7.3 lakh crore. But how is the, we can say, pathway?
Very right. You said that the financial sector is very important, which link the demand and supply side all. And if you are not providing liquidity to the industry, it will create a cost of production and they will create a problem in the supply. But basically the problem of liquidity is because government is all of a sudden is planning to clean the balance sheet of the banks. You have accumulated the balance sheet for last 15 years and within 1 year you want
Cleaning
to
up, yeah.
This
That's
is
a
not
sudden
fair.
changes.
This is it. And second, at what time you are cleaning? If you are cleaning when your economy is growing at the rate of 10%, acceptable.
Yes.
But when your economy is growing at the rate of 4.5%, you are cleaning up that entire part is not justified. Government injected huge money
Yes.
in the banking system. But cleaning up is a very, the burden of the banking system is much more than what the government is injected. So as a result, most of the bankers are becoming passive.
Passive, yeah.
Not
They are not
to
lending.
They are not lending.
Not creating
And
fresh
if they are
loans.
passive, then the problem is on liquidity is not because of the availability of fund. It is because of the passiveness.
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 It means they are having funds, but they are reluctant to
reluctant
lend.
because of many hurdles. They want to clean up all. So at that time, even RBI has to take some liberal chance so that the bank can perform their role in boosting the demand of credit.
Demand of credit, yeah. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
Talking about the failure of the monetary policy, because in the last 1 year we have seen like monetary policy committee has been reducing the interest rate, but the banks are reluctant to reduce that rate. Although RBI has come out with that they will impose certain regulations, so regulatory phenomena are there. What do you think about the impact of monetary policy on the current slowdown?
It is very important that government or monetary policy, they have reduced the repo rate by 135 basis points.
Yes.
But the banks are reluctant in transferring this part.
Yes.
So this is the basic reason that the demand for fund is not creating.
Yes.
And the second part is that banks, the fund or the rate of interest, the mechanism, we are thinking that the investment is a function of rate of interest, but I think investment is a function of overall environment of the economy.
And that is MEC, marginal efficiency of capital, yes.
So environment means you are not able to create an environment where the banking or industry can go and push the fund.
It means they are waiting for some policy actions.
Exactly.
Yeah. That policy should be predictable.
Predictable certainty should be there. If you are communicating regularly, that next time the repo rate will be further reduced, why I will take the loan?
Obviously, I will wait for next 2 months. Yeah.
So give a complete transparent, and why, if you want to do that something, then at one slot.
Yes.
At one slot. And RBI is hesitate because he has a fear that if we will give an easy monetary policy, it can cause inflation. And now we are getting a symptoms of the inflation. So RBI is really very cautious. We need the environment, and environment cannot be pushed by the RBI. It is the duty of the government to create the environment.
It depends on the government only, and this is the solution right now. So thank you so much, sir, for coming here.
Thanks.
It was a nice conversation, very insight. And for our viewers also, they got to know much deeper detail about the budget this time. That is not covered by any newspaper or any other media. So thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming here.
Thank you, and wonder good efforts. Keep it up, or you are creating a good base for the learners, especially those who are, because economics cannot be learned through textbook. Impossible.
Seriously. That is applied part. So thank you so much for tuning Ecoholics, and we are signing off. See you.